Imagine how good it would feel to be able to speak to someone and make them actually feel good about the conversation, to make them feel better after speaking to you. I think that is powerful. And if you want to be successful in life, you should be able to do that. And if you learn the principles from this legendary book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, you can make it happen. So I promise you that if you have the discipline to watch this entire video series from start to finish, you will be able to do just that. That is my promise for you today, and Knights don't break promises. This series will be split into 6 parts. Currently, you are watching part 5, so if you haven't seen the other 4 parts, go click on the card in the top right corner where you will see a playlist with all the other episodes. But this is only part 5, which means there are 2 more coming. And if you don't want to miss them, make sure you click on the subscribe button and hit the bell so that YouTube sends them to you as soon as they are done. This book was written in 1937, and the reason this book is so relevant even to this day is because Dale Carnegie constantly worked on revising it. He revised it until the day of his death, which was in 1955, and many people after him revised it as well. So this book has literally lifetimes worth of knowledge. Carnegie also highlights 8 things this book is going to help you with. 1. Get out of a mental rut. Think new thoughts, acquire new visions, and discover new ambitions. 2. Make friends quickly and easily. 3. Increase your popularity. 4. Win people to your way of thinking. 5. Increase your influence, your prestige, and your ability to get things done. 6. Handle complaints, avoid arguments, and keep your human contact smooth and pleasant. 7. Become a better speaker and a more entertaining conversationalist. 8. Arouse enthusiasm among your associates. And this book has done so for more than 10 million readers, and if you follow this 6-part course, you will be able to join this group. Principle 21. Throw down a challenge. This is what every successful person loves. The game, the chance for self-expression, the chance to prove his worth, to excel, to win. That is what makes foot races and hog calling. Carnegie tells us another story about Charles Schwab, who doubled the production in his factory by using this principle. After the day shift was done, he came in the factory and wrote a big number 6 on the floor with chalk, which indicated the number of mills the day shift had created. When the night shift came, they were motivated to work harder than the day shift, so they ended up making 7 mills and therefore changed the number to 7. And then the day shift came in, worked really hard, and ended up changing the 7 to a 10. Just like that, Charles Schwab managed to double the amount of work, and all he did was write a number on the floor. Charles Schwab understood that the way to get things done is to stimulate competition, not in a way to compete for money, but in a desire to excel. And the good thing about this is that you can use it in your day-to-day life. Next time you go to the gym, go with a friend and try to see who can lift more and get more reps on an exercise. Doing this one simple thing will make you put in much more effort and therefore help you make more progress. And you can even do this with yourself. If we use the gym example once again, once you start tracking your lifts, you are going to be more motivated to do more, and I think that is powerful. So remember that in order to motivate someone, throw down a challenge. Principle 22. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. Beginning with praise is like a dentist beginning with Novocaine. The patient still gets a drilling, but the Novocaine is pain-killing. Carnegie tells a story of how one of his course members successfully encouraged a new low-performing trainee to increase her work output by using this principle. He started by telling her all the things she was doing well. This made her realize that he had confidence in her. After that, he followed up by suggesting all the things she could improve to make her even better. Beginning with praise is really important, but in order for it to actually work well, you need to implement the next principle. Principle 23. Call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Many people begin their criticism with sincere praise, followed by the word but, and ending with a critical statement. You have been working really hard, and we are really proud of you. But if you worked harder, your grades would have been even better. You can probably tell that does not sound good. When someone hears the word but after a praise, they question the validity of it. Instead of this, Carnegie suggests that we replace the word but with the word and. You've been working really hard. We are so proud of you. And if you work even harder next year, your grades will be even better. Carnegie also tells us another story about Charles Schwab, which I really liked. Charles Schwab saw his employees smoking right under a no smoking sign, and he could have come up to them being angry and started shouting at them, like, "Can you not see the sign?" or something? But he instead chose to use this principle because he knew that they know they are breaking the rules, and so he called attention to their mistake indirectly. He pulled out his expensive pack of cigars, handed one to each of them, and said, "I'd appreciate it, boys, if you could smoke these outside." This call to their mistake was indirect, but very effective. They knew what he meant, and he did it in a way that they wouldn't start resenting him. So when you are about to call to someone's mistake, always pause and ask yourself how you can do it in an indirect way. Principle 24. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Admitting one's own mistakes, even when one hasn't corrected them, can help convince somebody to change their behavior. Carnegie tells us a story about a father who finds out his son started smoking. The father had been smoking for many years, and he felt like his addiction was impossible to stop. And so instead of shouting at him and being angry, he instead took a different approach, telling his son his own mistake. He told him how when he was about his age, he also started smoking, and now he has a very irritating cough, and it is very hard for him to stop now. And just like that, his son stopped smoking. If the father hadn't taken this approach and given his son a punishment, chances are the boy wouldn't have stopped. Admitting your own mistakes sparks sympathy, and as we already know, people crave sympathy. And so next time, when someone makes a mistake, try thinking about some way where you can relate to him. This will not only make you less angry during the confrontation, but it will also be way more effective when it comes to convincing him not to do it again. There is a high probability that if someone has made a mistake, you have made a mistake very similar to his. Principle 25. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Asking questions not only makes an order more palatable, but it also often stimulates the creativity of the person whom you ask. Carnegie tells us a story about Ian McDonald, who was the manager of a manufacturing plant and received a very large order which he thought was impossible to complete. And he could have tried to complete it by giving his employees orders and forcing them to work longer in order to complete the work. But he didn't. He instead used this principle and started asking his employees questions like, "Is there anything we can do to handle this order?" And the employees themselves ended up telling the manager to take the order, saying they were willing to work longer hours. And all of this just because he asked questions instead of giving direct orders. When you ask questions, it shifts the dynamic you have with the people you are trying to influence. It takes it from superior talking to inferior to equals talking to each other. And people like that much more, because as we discussed previously, people don't like being told what to do. Implementing this principle helps you become a better leader. It turns you from a boss to a leader, and that is powerful. Alright bro, that's it for today. Make sure you stay tuned for the last part of this series. If they are already out, you will probably be able to see them somewhere on the screen, so go check them out. Go click on the subscribe button. Share this video with a friend who needs to improve his social skills. Join the Wisdom Clan with the first link in the description. Make sure you implement everything you've learned today, and bye.